All right, can I retire at 55 with $750,000 in retirement savings? Let's look at this scenario. So again, we've got a 55-year-old individual. Social Security at 67 is going to be $2,800 a month. We've got $750,000 in retirement savings, okay? I'm not specifying the specific investment vehicle. We've just got $750,000 in retirement savings. Our retirement expenses are $50,000 a year. That is an average annual retirement expense for the United States. So maybe you're in Detroit, you don't have $50,000 in retirement expenses. Maybe you're in Louisville, it might be less. Just depends on where you are in the country. Our rate of return for the $750,000 in the market is 6%, and our inflation rate is 3%. That means that our spending is going to increase by about 3% per year. That's because that's the 108-year inflation average, which is calculated by the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index. So let's look at this. I want to retire at 55. I've got $750,000 in retirement savings. Can I do it? So from 55 to 67, our expenses would be $4,166 per month. That's $50,000. Now, we're going to put inflation on this, and that inflation is going to be calculated monthly. I've used my retirement software to get all of these figures because I wanted to be exact, down to the decimal point penny, 0.001 exact. So I'm not going to use my calculator. I'm going to use some software to make sure we are exactly correct. Now, 6% is our rate of return on the money in the market, and we're going to use 3% inflation. Okay, so inflation is 3%. How much money are we going to have at 67 when we kick on Social Security? Well, simple. We're going to have $328,382. So we're down $400 and something thousand basically. Taking out $50,000 a year, inflated at 3%. So at 67, now our expenses have increased because of inflation. Social Security's kicking in, so we're getting Social Security of $2,800 a month. But now our expenses, because of inflation, have gone up, and essentially we run out of money at 74 years old. We're out at zero. Or we're out at 74, we have $0 in retirement savings. So can I retire at 55 with $750,000? Not with $50,000 in annual expenses. Now, keep in mind, we've got to change some things. We either have to lower our monthly expenses, we have to raise the amount of money we make in the market. So our rate of return has to increase, or inflation has to lower. Well, let's just say this is not going to change. So inflation's not going anywhere. So it's going to just stay at 3%. Most people will say, well, Drew, I can earn more in the market. Well, let's see. How much do you have to earn to have $50,000 in retirement income based off of $750,000 in retirement savings and inflation at 3%? Your rate of return would have to be 9.38%. Now, my question to you is, can you guarantee 9.4% in your retirement investing accounts every year between ages 55 and 100? Probably not. And so now we have to go back to the expenses. We've got to lower our retirement expenses. So if we want to retire at 55 with $750,000, we either have to lower our expenses or bring in some more income. Now, if you're married, obviously this scenario is going to be different. I'm looking at this as a single individual. So let's look at this. Can I retire at 55 with $750,000 and lower our expenses? What do we have to get to in order to do this? Well, $750,000. When we look at the calculation, in order to retire at 55 with $750,000, our starting monthly retirement expenses would have to be $3,100. Because remember, that $3,100 is going to get inflation. So we're going to get 6% is our rate of return in the market. Our inflation rate is 3%. So from 55 to 67, we're going to take out $3,100 from our retirement investing accounts. So at 67, we'll have $687,445. Now at 67, we're kicking on Social Security of $2,800. Our expenses have increased from the $3,100. Now they're at $4,606. That's what our expenses are. So we'll take our expenses, we'll subtract out our Social Security, and that's what we're going to need from our retirement investing accounts for the rest of our life. 6% still our rate of return, and 3% is inflation. How long is now this money going to last? We are out. We're at 0 at 98. I feel really good about being at 0 at 98 years old. So if you're one to retire at 55 with $750,000, assuming 6% rate of return, assuming 3% inflation rate, and assuming that you're single, you need to start with $3,100 in retirement income. All right? So I hope this has helped.